that came from above. And he's coming down from the highest point in all what we call Levant, all the countries here, Syria, Jordan, right, Sinai, Israel, and is creating a river, the Jordan River. And this Jordan River creates Sea of Galilee. Sea of Galilee, the only fresh water container all the way from Babylon to Egypt. What is the meaning? Everyone that wants to drink fresh water has to take it from here. Yeshua became the living water, not only for Israel, it's also to the Romans, to the Syrians, to the Greeks, because everyone had to come here to drink this living water. This was his first mission. And that's why Jesus left Nazareth and came to live here. And this place is called Kfar Nahum, the village of the Comforter. And Yeshua became for 3 years the Comforter. The Comforter. Who talked a lot about this word. Menachem. For 3 years was giving us living water. But the Jordan River don't stop here. The Jordan River continues to run south. And runs south till it arrives where? Till it arrives to the only sea. Which what is the name of the sea? Dead Sea. It's a miracle, mysterious. Only sea that is called Dead Sea. So, the Jordan River, Yeshua didn't finish his mission by being the living water for us. He started his second mission, to be what? The Lamb of God that carries the sins of the world away. He started it again in Mount Hermon when he transfigured to the disciples, Peter, James, and John. And he told them, before this, some of you will not see death before you will see me coming to my glory. 6 days later, Matthew chapter 17, verse 1 to 3, all the way to 11. It took Peter, James, and John up to Mount Hermon. It transfigured. You understand why this is the holy mountain? Jesus transfigured to them. And they looked on him and they were amazed. His head looked like the sun. Garments were more white, Mark says, that anybody could make laundry. I believe that Mark, young man, right, had a problem with laundries. Whenever he did laundries, his mother thought, hey, Mark, you are not good in laundries. And now when he saw Jesus' garment, he said, it was so beautiful, so clean. No one can make laundry like this. They were astonished. He told them, the cloud appeared, a voice came, and what the voice said? Behold, this is my beloved one. Hear and obey him. And the cloud vanished. Elijah and Moses vanished. Jesus looked at them and told them, don't tell anybody what you have seen now till I will raise from the dead. He went down, and then he went down like the Jordan River to where? To die. Look now, this is called the Dead Sea, the down here. The Jordan River is living water. And look where we meet Yeshua. Look on the point. You see where we meet him? not only in the lowest place in the world, we come down from Moses, and what we give him, we have to. There's no way to conquer the land or to enter the land without letting the Jordan River wash you. Wash you, wash you. No way, you cannot jump from one side of the Jordan to the other side. It's a little bit too far. You have to be washed totally, like happened to Naaman, to take all the garbage you carried all these 40 years in the desert away. And look what happened to the water of the Jordan. It goes down to his death. But you get up like Naaman. No leprosy, no any fault, like a new baby. That's why it's called to be born again. So the Dead Sea, 34% salt. It kills every germ. No life can sustain here. Even not the least of the sins that we carried on us cannot live anymore. You see what happens here? Jesus takes it and the sins die forever. No one anymore can poison them. Remember, a new skin, new body. And with this, we can start and climbing all our life. We are climbing to reach Jerusalem, which is up waiting for us. So you can see that the land of Israel tell you the story of salvation. The land itself. You don't need to be sophisticated, philosophical, with all kind of languages to know, and definitely not Greek, which has nothing to do here. Just the land. Why? Because God says in Psalm, I created the land with my fingers. And he built it as a model of salvation. When we are going much more deep, I talk about what happens, the miracle from this point to Jerusalem. It's a long axis with 12 points. 12 points. And every point more west, more holy. More west, more holy. More west, more holy. This you have to come to Israel and to take a tour with me, and you will see the mystery of Mount Nebo to the road to Emmaus. Mount Nebo to the road to Emmaus. And then you can understand what I'm saying, that is all the land of Israel tell you the story of salvation. What the 12 points that are on this axis, which is so straight, so clear. Here is the beginning, Mount Nebo. Here is the crossing of the Jordan. And this is the end, the road to Emmaus. Why? I call it the end. Because this is the situation that every one of you and me are now. We are walking with him in the road of Emmaus. And he continued to open to us what? Moses, Psalm, and prophets. And you remember what Cleophas and his friends said? The end of that day, our heart was burning in us when he opened us this. And for 2,000 years it was in a veil. It came again, alive, now, with the state of Israel, with knowing back the Hebrew language, with really understanding what are these prophecies about him. So you see the connection of the land of Israel with Yeshua fulfilled prophecies. Let us just make a very, very short from the map of Israel. By the way, you see, I talk about a map, and then I talk about prophecies. Talk about a map, I talk about the language. They are one triangle. You cannot take one part away of this triangle. The land of Israel, the language of Israel, and God of Israel. All of them, this triangle, the middle of all this, Yeshua. Yeshua. Let us take some of what Jesus said to Cleophas, some of the prophecies. Like I said, there are more than 120 actually, prophecies that are fulfilled and mentioned in the Bible. You remember 33 of them are Isaiah alone. Do you have any prophecy from Isaiah that comes in your mind from the 33 that is really, really talking about Jesus? Meanwhile, that we will talk, I will ask that somebody will bring the cupboard and put it here, if you don't mind. Not the cupboard, sorry, with the colors, right? The blackboard, if it's possible. There is one prophecy that is the center of the prophet in Isaiah. And I want you to see why I call it the center. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. When we talk about Isaiah, Isaiah has, as you know, 66 chapters. From them, "39 chapters plus 27 chapters. From how many books we have in the New Testament? 27. How many in the Old Testament? 39. So the structure is exactly Old Testament books, New Testament books. From this point, which is Isaiah 40, what are the first two words? How it opens. Everyone that sang Handel's Messiah remember very well. Comfort me. Remember it? Comfort me, my people. Okay, I lost my voice once. I had it. But tour guiding so many years, 20 years in the mountains, you cannot keep voice. But you remember this. Comfort me. Comfort. What is comfort? The word comfort is menachem. Menachem. And the root is N-K-H or C-H and M. Nahum. What is Nahum? To comfort. In the Bible, there are 10 names which the rabbis consider are names of Messiah. 10 names. Shemach, Inon, Shemesh. We can talk hours just about these 10 names. But what is number one name? Menachem. Menachem. Try to say it. Menachem. HaMenachem. The Comforter. This is number one name. Messiah number one character, he will be the Menachem, the comforter. He will comfort Israel. Why? Because she was paying double times for her transgressions. This is what the text is giving down there. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1 and 2. You understand this point? Isaiah tells in the name of God that Israel went astray very hard. Look on chapter 1 of Isaiah. But she already got punished. How much? Double time of what she did. And now from chapter 40, verse 1, Menachem is coming. Comfort. Yes, comfort my people. This is the time to start to comfort Israel and not continue to blame her. That's what God says. To comfort Israel and not to blame her. I wish the world, the church world, would understand this, what God said. I wish. But let us go on. These 27 chapters are divided into two groups. 13 chapters, I write here, 13 chapters and 13 chapters. I don't have to tell you the numbers, you all study mathematics. So you can understand from chapter 40 to which chapter? 52. And then from chapter 54 all the way to 66. I mean, very symmetric. Very symmetric. And here there stands one chapter. Here. Which chapter? 53. In the middle. In the middle. There is no other chapter in the Bible, in the whole Bible, that is focusing on Yeshua so strong, so clear, focusing, because in the center of Isaiah, like this chapter 53. Again, I give you now very, very brief something which is full hour, right? Minimum, chapter 53. Every verse in this chapter points on Yeshua. Every verse, to give you more than this, every word. Every word. To take now, who has believed our report? And of whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? It starts with a question mark. Who? Because people didn't believe what they saw. 3 verses before it, verse 52, the last verses, what they read, what is written. They're looking on him and they see him. Look the last 2 verses of chapter 52. And they say, Hine yaskil avdi, behold, my beloved servant, yarum vegava venisa meod. There are 3 verbs that in English, they have no meaning really. What it says there? Just as many were astonished in the beginning, but chapter 52, the last 2 verses. that he will be lifted, he'll be raised, and will be very exalted. Look in your Bibles, okay? Or one verse before it. My servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted, extolled, and very high. Right? Exalted, extolled, and very high. What do you understand? What do you understand? 3 words in English. But what is the meaning behind it? Isaiah see a vision in front of his eyes, and he see the lion cross on the ground. Jesus is on the cross. And now what he see the people around the cross. They are watching. And what? You see the Roman people that are lifting the cross and lifting it higher, and now he stands total higher. You see the lifting of the cross in 3 verbs, which are so familiar to us in the Hebrew language. Why? Because in training, when you are training in army, you are trained to carry a wounded man on a bed. So the commander say, the bed, right? The bed and wounded man. Alunka harem, alunka hagba, alunka anef. So these are the 3 words that are in Isaiah. You see, the soldiers, the Roman soldiers, they have to lift it. So the commander says, lift, and make it higher and standing. It makes no sense in exalted, and so because exalted, it's not really a verb, it is more adverb, adjective. You understand the point? Because the translator didn't understand what is the Hebrew so clear, the picture of raising up the cross. And the moment they raised it up and the cross was standing there, what happens? Everyone is watching. And that's what he goes on, chapter 53, the first verse. They are looking on him, and they are watching, and they can't believe. They can't believe that this one which is now laid on the cross is the one that God chose. To do what? Maybe we can have again chapter 53, verse 1. What they see there, what they are watching. And not only this, from this moment, all this chapter is one big enigma to every Jewish rabbi. I want to say it the most clear that it can be. I never met one rabbi that dared to sit with me and really discuss 53. Because immediately, when he said, no, it's not Yeshua, it's not this, it's the nation of Israel. Aha! But what is written in verse 5? What is written? That he took, that we have been sin, we went astray. Who are we? The Gentiles? If the Gentiles went astray and he put everything on Israel, it should be they went astray, not we. You understand? They. But no, he said we went astray. Yeah, I can have the words also here, so in the front. But okay, but he was wounded for our transgression. He was bruised. Look how many times the word he, not they, not them, not in plural. It is singular. One, singular. The chastisement for our peace was upon him. By his stripes we are healed. How many times you say these words, right? He and he. All we like sheep have gone astray. This is Israel. Now the word we appears. You see, this is the nation against him, he. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way. One word about this, like sheep. Why like sheep? What is the character of a sheep? Sheep is the most, in a way, dumb animal. The moment the shepherd is running aside and hiding, you have to look what happens. Flock, 60, 70 sheep. Meh, meh, meh. And they start running, looking. They don't find the shepherd. They get in hysteria. The only animals that immediately, they go lost. And some will go there, some will go there. By the way, if you come with me to a trip, I showed you that there's one sheep, that she knows what to do. One sheep, very interesting. But they are lost. This is their character. Goats not. Goats, give them. They will feel excellent, even if the shepherd is not around them. Excellent. They will climb on high place. They will stand. They look all around. Enemy comes. Wolf comes. The goat is not afraid. He's climbing on cliffs like this. He stands up on the cliffs, something like this. I can, looking down. Are you afraid to come to me, huh, wolves? Huh, dear wolf? Yeah, you will be there. I'm here. And if one of the wolves will try to get higher, unbelievable, but the goats will jump on cliffs like this, backward even, and go even higher and even higher. Come on, come to me. I have it all in movies. I have movies, right, that were taken in Israel. How a young goat, 3 months, making a joke. In the movie, 7 wolves, they try to catch her. She makes a joke of them. They don't dare to climb. This is a full study between the difference between goats and between sheep. It's amazing. But Jesus never talks about goats, but sheep. He says again, I was not sent to the lost sheep of Israel. It doesn't say the lost flock and not the lost goat. The lost sheep. The word sheep is very important because this is Isaiah 53. We all went astray. We all were like sheep. We have turned everyone to his own way. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. I challenge every rabbi to come and discuss about this. On whom Isaiah is talking here. And because it's so complicated, they decided to take it away from the Haftarot in the synagogue. In the morning you have portion from the Torah. In the afternoon, evening, you have a portion from the Haftarah, from the prophet. Where is Isaiah 53? Vanished. And not appearing. Many religious Israelis never read Isaiah 53 because the rabbi decided, take it away. We cannot answer this. But this is not the end. Look what is coming after this. Let us go a little bit on. Look, he was wounded for our right things, afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. When we see what happened on Friday morning, 6 o'clock, Jesus was brought to the Antonia fortress where was Pilate sitting to judge him. And he was brought to him. And all the people cried and shouted, "Crucify him, crucify him," all the religious crowd. At the same time, early in the morning, there was another big group. And what they cried, "We want Barabbas! We want Barabbas!" There were two big crowds. Early in the morning they were there. Why? Because this day, Friday, in the evening, it was the time of celebrating the Passover. But the special Passover that falls on Shabbat. So what happens here? Two big crowds. One of them cried to Pilate, "Crucify him." Another one, "Save Barabbas." I say Barabbas, but most of you don't know his private name. Somebody knows? What is the private name of Barabbas? Yeshua. Very good. Yeshua Barabbas. So there were, under the eyes of Pilate, there were 3 pages ready. The two, one thief, another one that also was executed, and there was another third one. What is the name? Yeshua Bar Abba. What is Bar Abba? Somebody knows in Hebrew, Bar is son. What is Abba? Son of his father. Everyone is Bar Abba, in a way. Yeah, but his name, private name, Yeshua, son of his father. And now, there comes another one. Pilate didn't know about him. And the one that enters is a new one. And look, Pilate had to execute Barabbas because he was a murderer. He was what we call today the right wing, politically. Ku Klux Klan man, Syriac man, a murderer of the political reasons. And now the new one comes. And look what happened. He's standing as a sheep before its shearers, and he's silent. And he not opened his mouth. Now look on verse 8. This is one little example why every word is prophesying about Yeshua. What is written in verse 8? Loud. He was taken from prison. Brothers and sisters, Jesus didn't have the basic privilege to spend in prison 24 hours. According to the Roman law and according to the Sanhedrin law, minimum 24 hours in prison. Why? Because then he can take time to check. Maybe there is a mistake. Maybe they caught the wrong man. Maybe this is not he, but another one is victim. So he had no chance even to be in prison. You know why? Because when he was brought that night to the prison of Caiaphas, the high priest, he was there a few minutes. The rooster cried. And you know when the rooster cries? Early in the morning. Early in the morning. And Caiaphas did everything to get rid of him. The same Caiaphas that predicted 2 times in John, also in chapter 18, where we are also in chapter 11, John tells us that Caiaphas predicted that better one will be killed for all the nations. Then all the nation will perish. 2 times John tells us. So the moment he arrived to Caiaphas, he saw Jesus, he knew this is better that he will perish then there will be a chaos in the Jewish nation in front of the Romans. So what he did, let him as quick as possible. Out, to the Antonia. Just what we call washing his hands. I don't want my hands on him. And he arrived at 6 o'clock in front of Pilate. Look what is the next word. He was not only taken out of prison, he was taken out of judgment. The judge is sitting, Pilate, and the victim comes to him. You know, sorry victim, I have a problem. What is your name? You ever saw judge standing in front and ask the man, who are you? What is your guilty? Why you are brought in front of me? This is a judge, tell me. This is judging or this is a fake judging? This is lynch. Look on the words of Isaiah. Isaiah saw in his vision, he saw that Yeshua is just like a lamb. Everyone wants to get rid as quick and wash their hands. And that's what Pilate, the judge, is saying. I didn't find any guilt on him. What later on, Acts chapter 26, Herod Agrippa will say the same word. I didn't find Herod Philippus, right? It's called Philippus. Right? Agrippa is the second, the son of Philippus, the grandson of Philippus. I didn't find any guilty in Paul. If he would not want to go to Caesar, let him go. Here the same. The judge didn't find any guilt in Yeshua. He was taken even out of judgment. Every around 10 years in Israel, there are a group of lawyers. Yeah, we have to finish, right? Now for questions. 1 minute? What? 1 hour. We have 1 hour more. Okay, very good. I like it. Look, I want to go if you are still awake. Very good. You understand what happens here? Almost around 10 years, there is a group of lawyers in the state of Israel that are demanding to re-judge Jesus. Can you believe? Because they said he was never judged properly. Never. He was never judged, actually. He was taken out. Isaiah 53. Look, I can go word by word, but I could not do it before the state of Israel was born, before the language of Israel was born. Because in English, reading it, that's why I chose King James Version, New King James Version. If you will look in New American Standard, in NIV, right, and so many other editions, I tell you, they're total lost direction. They didn't understand how to translate it. And you get all kind of text that you don't know what is the meaning of it. This is the most close to the Hebrew. He was taken out of. You understand the point? How important is every word? Out of. Then he let him finish even. It was taken out. And that's why in my tours, I take time when we are there in the house of Caiaphas. We are there. I take time with my groups. I want them to see very careful where was Caiaphas, where was Ananias, his father-in-law, and how every one of them tried to get away of Jesus, right? As quick as possible and not stain our hand. Everyone did the same. And at the same time, what Jesus did? Closed his mouth like a sheep. He was brought by Pilate to whom? to Herod. Which Herod? Antipas. There are 6 Herods in the New Testament. 6, which all are called Herod. But we know the first is Herod the Great, second Herod Archelaus, Herod Antipas, Herod Philippus, Herod Agrippa first, Herod Agrippa second, 6. Come to Israel, you will study them very well, believe me. 10 days, we have enough time really to teach it. And look what happened. He asked Jesus, where are you? From where are you in Israel? Even this he didn't know. And they've heard that he's Galilean. You know where Galilee, right? Galilean. They say, oh, good idea. Herod Antipas, the procurator that is in Galilee, which you can see the north part of Israel. Okay, Galilee, I hope this is, no, don't worry, I will not stand. All over there, and Jerusalem is down here. Galilee is over there. When you have heard that Jesus is Galilean, you say, oh, Herod Antipas, the procurator, the king, right, of Galilee is now in Jerusalem in the palace of his father. He sent Jesus to Herod Antipas. He arrived to Herod Antipas. And we read that Herod Antipas wanted to meet Jesus. He wanted to see what is this man that everyone is talking about. And he's standing in front of Herod, and he doesn't open his mouth. Not one word. With Pilate, he talked. Pilate even asked him in a moment, what is truth? Because Jesus said, I am a king. Yes. Yes, I am a king. For this I came to this world. But my kingdom is not in this world. And I have a big army in my kingdom. If I would say a word, this big army will fight for me. But no, don't worry. Nothing will happen to you. I don't use this. I'm not going to use my power. I came here to witness for the truth. What is the truth? You see, immediately, he wanted to enter to a philosophical talking. Jesus didn't come to this world to start a philosophical talking. Remember, he wanted them to see what is truth, not to talk about. So many times that's what we see now in this world. People want to talk. He came to show. He didn't share a word with Herod Antipas. And Herod commanded bring him back to the Antonia fortress. By the way, 10 minutes walk, 8 minutes walk. You have to be in Jerusalem to see distances and to take time. And again, 6 o'clock he was in front of Pilate. 9 o'clock on that day, Friday, Jesus was crucified on the cross. You know it? It was 9 o'clock. 12 o'clock, there was thunders and lightnings and earthquake. 3 o'clock, Jesus breathed out his spirit. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 hours and a half in April before Shabbat entered. For those who know the Hebrew calendar, not like the Gregorian Roman calendar. Hebrew calendar starts in the evening, morning, one day. Evening, morning, one day. So the day starts in the evening, 6 o'clock, 3 stars appear in heaven, and it goes all night, all the day till 6 o'clock. Jesus was on the cross and gave his spirit 3 hours before the Shabbat entered. And then,
5 minutes bathroom break.
5 minutes bathroom. Oh, thank you, I like it. Always tell me, because I don't know these kind of things. You understand? 3 hours before Shabbat entered. And then all Shabbat where he was. Later on, we will talk about this. All Shabbat where he was. Where he was. So all this is here in Isaiah 53. And because we have 3 minutes, I want to end. This is so important. Just one place. I told you there are more than 33 official prophecies in Isaiah alone. This is only one of them. And look what is written. And that's why the eunuch that was sent by Queen Candace, you remember the eunuch to worship in Jerusalem? And Philippus, Acts chapter 8, verse 33, Philippus appeared to the place where was the eunuch, and he saw the eunuch reading. He was on the way back to Ethiopia, and he asked him, do you understand what you read? And he said, how can I understand? Nobody will explain me. Okay, let me enter, I explain you. He opened Isaiah 53. 2,000 years ago, this was the chapter. About whom he's talking here? About himself? Was very politically correct. Or about someone else? It took 5 minutes to Philippus to tell him about him. 5 minutes. You can ask me how I know 5 minutes. Come to Israel, I prove you. And the eunuch, stop. There is some water here. Some water. What prevents me to be baptized? And what Philippus told him, welcome. And he baptized him. We know the place of the meeting, Khirbet Chanot, the meeting of Philippus and the eunuch, and we know the place where he was baptized. And the word some water, this is fixed. Some water, not a lake. Some water, a Nabatean cistern. We know 5 minutes it took him. That's all. He was ready. You understand? His heart was ready to accept Yeshua. What he needed is a little bit help about whom he is talking here. Immediately was convinced. He was ready. My prayer now as we close this part, God will prepare your hearts like he prepared this eunuch that came all the way from Ethiopia. Why came? To worship God. If you come to worship him, he will show you. If you come to be more intellectual, smart, sorry, he will close everything. Will not tell you a word like Jesus didn't tell a word to Herod Antipas. With what attitude we are coming? This is the question. And we can give the answer. Only we in our heart. We know the motivation in our heart.